against these guys kind of motivate these kids at all, or does that just completely eliminate itself from the vocabulary?
I don't think it's motivation. You know, I think that you know, there's things to take from that game for sure. You know, and we've obviously watched it. You know, especially offensively. You know, we're a new defensive scheme wise and all that, but offensively there's some things scheme wise that we'd like to take from it, and also things to learn that let's not try that again. That didn't look so good. So that always happens. But I think from a psyche standpoint, this is a different team that we have, and they're a different football team, and I think this is more about this game this year and us, and that's where the focus is.
What's the biggest concern about what Stanford does?
Well, there's a lot. You know, I mean, they're a good team, and they're very well coached. They execute extremely well. They're unique in their personnel groupings offensively, in the fact that they keep multiple tight ends on the field just about all of the time. The length that they have on defense, they do a good job of that stuff. And so, you know, there's concerns on both sides. That's natural, but that all stems from they've got good players and good coaches.
It seems like toughness and physical and words like that are used when you're playing Stanford a lot. Is there a different mentality for the team? Do you almost have to coach differently leading into a game against a team like that?
I'm hopeful not. You know, the fact of it is and I think we're starting to recognize it as a team, is that we should never change the way we prepare, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, regardless of who our opponent is. And you know, we started really hammering that home last week before the Portland State game, that our preparation was about us and doing things our way, the Husky way, playing our brand of football. And that messaging hasn't changed from us as coaches, and shouldn't change the mentality of the players who the opponent is. Obviously, there's game plan stuff when we're looking at film, and you need to know your opponent. But from a motivational standpoint, I'd like to think that we're starting to mature to the point of we get to play Thursday night. It happens to be Stanford this week, but our preparation, our focus, our energy, our enthusiasm shouldn't waver, shouldn't vary from week to week.
Is there success still kind of, I guess, up front? Is it more just they win a lot of one-on-one battles, or do they do things that get people off balance a little bit?
Well, I think I'm going to speak offensively first, because they're good on both sides of the ball that way. I think offensively they do some things philosophically that are a bit unique with some of their formations and shifts and whatnot. I think that they are the best word to give you for this. They're committed to the running game that way, and that you know, they don't go out and run and get gains of 10 yards every time. They'll have some 1 and 2 yard runs, but they stick with it, and they're able to stick with it because they play good defense. And so the game never gets away from them too much, and it's where they feel like they have to start really just throwing the ball. So I think they have a cohesive approach to the game. Play really good sound defense against the run, and then have the ability to run the football offensively, then utilize the play action pass when you get the lead and teams are really selling out to stop the run. So they do a good job of keeping those things together. The challenge for everybody that plays them, and us this week, is how do you get them out of that cohesive game plan that they approach every game with. And so that's what the challenge is going to be for us Thursday night.
Are there any lessons at all in LSU and what happened in that game at all for this one? Or?
I don't, not necessarily. That was a different ball game, different team. You know, the biggest lesson is that, you know, you want to play well. You want to put your best foot forward. You want to catch balls. You want to block. You want to tackle. You know, you don't want to block guys in the back and on special teams. You want to play a good football game against a good football team.
In general, to oversimplify it, it seems like some of the things you did, moving safeties up, getting smaller at the linebacker, is more built maybe toward the Oregons and stuff like that. Is it against a team like Stanford? Could you be more susceptible? Is it kind of a different matchup?
Well, we'll have a good game plan. You know, we'll have a good game plan. Every week is different, and your opponents are different that way. And so, from a game plan standpoint, things change from week to week. We are fortunate enough that we have some guys that are almost hybrid type guys that can play safety and or linebacker, and vice versa, and so we were able to play to their strengths, and we'll be able to do that Thursday as well.
Steve, generally, some of your better offensive games that you've been here have been after breaks, either buys or bowl games. Is that too, redoing the game plan the second time through? Do you think there's execution in that, or what's been the key to that?
Well, I think there's some merit to that. You know, we really try to front load our work as coaches, in that sometimes guys in the bye weeks, of course, you're still focusing on yourself, and then, okay, we'll wait till next week till we get on the next opponent. We front load ourselves in that we're on to the next opponent while we're fixing some things of ourselves, and so that our guys should get extra reps at the things we want to run, and different in the multitude of looks that they could potentially get, so they can react to them a little bit better when the game comes. And then ultimately, their comfort level with the game plan should increase. They should feel better about what we're doing by the time game time comes. And so, I'd like to think that can happen again this week. We've still got a few days to prepare.
Am I just saying that, or have you noticed execution's better on weeks like that?
I think in general, I'd like to think we do pretty good in those settings. That I think that one of the one thing that's great that we can use that as, hey, this is kind of who we are, but at the end of the day, you still have to go out and execute it, and you can't just rely on, oh, it's just going to happen. You have to prepare really well, and I thought we had an excellent practice today. I thought our guys came and practiced with a purpose and an edge to them, and so I was pleased with that.
Steve, this is one of the few weeks you get a chance to see some of the other teams and be a fan. What did you learn about this?
Man, our conference is pretty crazy. This when you think something's going to happen, something else occurs. I think there's a lot of parity in our conference, probably much more than people realize. I'm watching a lot of games that could have easily gone another way, but there were teams that couldn't score in there in the red zone, and those opportunities, when you're playing the good teams, you need to score. And so it'll be interesting to watch as we keep moving forward, and how teams respond, and how teams respond to some adversity as some guys get nicked up and things like that. So, but it was fun to be a fan. It was fun to kind of do a little bit of scouting and watching our opponents and seeing what's happening.
And you talked about practice today. Did it have a more physical feel to it? You said an edge. It looked a little bit more physical out there today?
It felt it. It sounded that way. Sometimes practice is the best way you can tell is, what does it sound like? And I thought the last couple days have been that way. I think our guys, again, I want to go back to the Portland State week, that they really started to, it wasn't so much about what was going on of who we were going to play. It was what's going on in our building and with us and on our practice field, and that edge you need to practice with so that you play that way. And you practice with a purpose, and then you play the way you practice. And so I think we've been on this thing now for almost 3 weeks, and so it feels good that way, and I thought we saw it again today.
And I know you've asked the fans for the blackout and for everything else. Is it hard, given that it's a national game and whatnot, to still kind of try to keep things in-house and keep it as much about yourself as possible?
Well, the idea of being able to play a nationally televised game and having a blackout is awesome. That's the pageantry of college football that we should all embrace, and when we get those opportunities to embrace them, do that. But to enjoy that experience, your preparation is critical and is key. And again, I think the messaging is becoming clearer to our guys to understand that. We want to enjoy Thursday night just like everybody else, and we want our fans rocking. We want CenturyLink rocking, and use it to our advantage as much as anybody, And so we're fired up to go play in that game. But that's not till Thursday. We're just on Sunday slugging away at each other right now and fine-tuning things.
You've had the front row seat, seeing the stadium being renovated behind you. Has it been kind of a fun experience for you guys, especially in the summertime, since you've seen it take shape behind you?
It really has. I'll tell you what it is. I was thinking about it here in the bye week. Is I took probably a little extra time to kind of take it all in during the bye week. It's been probably the best distraction that we've had, and I've always been one to try to create distractions on the field, and starting with the music to all other stuff that we've done. And this one, in a good way, has been a good distraction, because you can catch yourself staring at it and staring at the guys working. I don't know how many feet up that roof is, but it's amazing. It's been an amazing project, and it looks beautiful already. I can't imagine what it's going to look like when it's done, but I definitely have caught myself staring over there a few times.